Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Toon Talk special night, Wembley special, building up the massive game on Sunday. Luke and Ian, thank you very much, lads, for coming back and joining us for our one-off special.
Thank you very much.
Good evening.
Excellent. Really looking forward to this one. Really looking forward to it. But I think before we get to the final, I think we talk about Monday night as well. Obviously, the West Ham game beat them 1-0. And I think I put in the group afterwards to say it was a kind of a comfortable win, job done. I think a lot of people said, "Well, comfortable," but even that last 10 minutes, normally I'm on the edge of my seat, and I think we could have honestly still been playing now, and I still think it would have been 1-0. I don't think the game would have changed in 3 or 4 days' time. I mean, what was your thoughts on the game on Monday night?
I think we needed that because we've had a few games where we've been hit and miss, where we've looked good and we've looked really bad. We just needed one where we actually got some over the line, and we didn't really, wouldn't say we got out of second gear, really. No. And we didn't really look in danger apart from the first 40 seconds. And I think that's... They had 2 shots on target all game. They were all done and dusted by 9 minutes. So as you say, I think we could still be playing and still would be 1-0. It's a nice sort of get a bit of momentum going Sunday. Nothing silly. Didn't pick up any more injuries or suspensions, so set it up nicely.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing, wasn't it? In Touchwood, wasn't it? No more injuries, no more suspensions. That was the main thing, wasn't it?
To be honest, I thought it was going to be a really difficult task down there.
Mm-hmm.
Potter, especially with a new manager with Graham Potter, I just thought they will have a little bit of a go at us. But when you look at the team and then they're looking, they're going to go 5 at the back in a 5-3-2. I just thought these are fearful for us. I really did. However, the first 10 minutes, I thought they should have scored, but then we kind of get it, like we could have got a foothold in the game. Harvey Barnes, I thought, was quite lively in the first 10 minutes. Had a few chances, a little flick. Great save by Arola. But I was never really threatened because I thought we were in about, I agree with Luke, we were only about 2nd gear, and I thought they were in about 5th gear. Terrible. They just didn't seem to have anything about them. I just thought it was like a bit of a dead ringer, to be honest. But the way I think was set up, the midfield 3 with Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton, and this is what I've said about Joe Linton away from home. I think against the big teams where you need ball retention, I think Joe Linton struggles. Away at West Ham, I think Joe Linton fits the bill, because when you need to be scruffy and you need to just really get in among, as you thought, he was tremendous. The Taylor Romento, I thought, really struggled. I thought he was lost at times. I thought he's defensive. I don't get the Newcastle United fan base. I think Taylor Romento is absolutely fantastic. I don't get that at all. I really don't. And I think the longer we keep a hold of Trippier, the better it will be for Taylor Romento, because on that right-hand side, he needs to learn what Trippier brings to this football club. What Trippier brings to this football club is he's off the ball. Leadership is absolutely out of this world. His organisation's world class, but his positional play when he's not on the ball is brilliant as well. But what Trippier brings when he's on the ball, he brings. He lets your midfielders bring up the play. He brings attacking options, and then he creates chances as well. What Tino Romento does, he brings none of them. What he does is he recovers very, very well because he's bad defensive positional play. He finds himself in bad positions, but his pace gets him out of bother. So he needs to learn off that man. So all of these people that need to get Kieran Trippier out this football club quickly, they're wrong. He needs to be there. If we're going to get the best out of Tino Romento, he needs to be there. 1,000,000%.
Well, he's still a massive player. I mean, the Arsenal game, the Cup game, obviously he started in that, and you could just see every player that came off that pitch in the Arsenal Cup game all went and shook Kieran Trippier's hand. Just I don't know what it was. I don't know what he said before the kick-off or something, but every single player that came off that night went to Trippier. But if you notice as well, which I think I love about Trippier still, is the last, I think it was a couple of minutes just before half-time, there was a bit of a couple of little come together. I think it was Bruno and someone, you could see a few things getting heated. And Trippier just came over, literally split them apart and just got a few Newcastle players and said, look, just calm down with 2 minutes for half-time. Nothing silly, let's go in and start again, second half. And he just calmed the situation down. You could just see the tackles starting to fly in. I can't remember what was West Ham, but there was a couple of players just flying in and he just came over and calmed it down. You wouldn't get that from other players apart from, like say, the experience of Trippier, which I'm so happy that he would be in that starting lineup on Sunday as well. As well.
What do you think about Kieran Trippier, Luke? Come on.
I like Trippier. I think he lacks the pace, and like a couple of times last season when he tried to back.
Do you not think since he's come back from injury, he looks sharper?
I do think he looks sharper. I think, as you say, his positional player, I think, is probably the best out of all the fullbacks we've got. Yeah. And he reminds me of Wan-Bissaka, where Wan-Bissaka's quicker, but he's always in the right place. He knows no matter who he's up against, he's not fast on the winger, but he's always positioned properly that he gets that tackling. I think that's the thing Tino misses. He does all the going forward quite well, but defensively, as you say, he gets caught. He's just quick, and if the player's cleverer, like I think Salah against Liverpool caused trouble because Salah's just smart, and I don't think Liverpool's got that experience or that sort of nous to know where to be. Whereas I think Trippier, he could put him against anyone. He'll have a plan to how to handle them. 9 times out of 10, he does handle them. I don't remember.
Do you know the thing is when Salah will go up against Liverpool because he'll know straight away he's a rider. Yeah. He'll take him into. I played right back when I was a left footer, and the winger knew I was uncomfortable going inside. So Salah will just take him in when he'll go. He's not comfortable in it, and it's hard for him. I get that. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, an interesting shout, like you say about the left backs. I know we're going to obviously go for our team lineups and stuff. I know there's people I mentioned last week, Luke as well, about Trippier and Tino getting on obviously the lineup for Sunday. I mean, we've seen Trippier playing some massive games for England left back. Do you leave him at right back, or do you put him over there against Salah and put Tino back in the right way? He's a bit more comfortable. I know we're going to start with the goalkeeper in a few seconds as well, but I mean, just while we're on Trippier and Tino, out of them two, where would you have them on Sunday, obviously, against Salah?
I think, assuming Diaz is going to start, I think you want Trippier against Diaz because Diaz makes he's sort of that unsung hero in that Liverpool side. Everyone thinks of Salah as a big name that finishes everything off, but 9 times out of 10, Diaz has something to do with it, and I think you need Trippier against that. Whereas Salah, I think you could probably put Joe Linton doubling up with Liverpool. I can't remember the game it was, but it was Joe Linton, Willock, and Hall all doubled up on the wing and just sort of protected the full-back in that position. I think we need to do that really well on Sunday. I think you'd probably want Tino's pace there. And if he does come inside and try to force him onto that side, and you'd like to think Joe Linton's going to be there or Dan Burns going to be there to help him out, you don't want him exposed against Salah. But at the same time, I think against Diaz, you'd be expected to keep Diaz quiet, whereas I don't think he's good at doing that either. And I don't think you get the protection on that side that he would on the other side.
Yeah, great that one, Ian.
Well, I'm glad you said that, James, right? Because I watched the Liverpool game against PSG, right? And I thought Salah was very ineffective. What Salah does is it's not like he's not like a natural way away. He'll just burst with pace and go past you, right? He'll wait till the time's right. And against PSG, I thought Salah was very quiet, right? So I would be very confident, just like Luke said, when he sets up for England, when we haven't got a good left back, Trippier will go to left back, right? Because I think that his experienced brain against a world-class player will probably get the best out of Kieran Trippier against Mo Salah, rather than a player that's playing out of position just simply because he's pace and he knows he can play there, which is Tino Livramento. But if you put Tino on the right-hand side against Diaz, that's his natural position. He'll go up and down there and do very, very well up against there. I think it's a great shout by Luke there by playing Trippier at left back. Whether Eddie Howe plays it and be brave as that, because we also know that he likes to play Trippier at right back and Tino at left back, but it's a different beast to you, mate, because we've got Mo Salah and we're playing in a cup final here. I think it's a great show, by the way, look, by playing Trippier left back. I really do. He's been there, cup finals, semi-finals, World Cup semi-finals, Euro semi-finals. I just think he's beat, like I say, I think that's a great shout by playing him in there. I really do. Absolutely 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I would like to say it, definitely 100%. I mean, obviously looking at the other position, I think it's still going to be a toss between them with goalkeepers. Obviously, Pope back in against West Ham. If you fans questioning us,
I think Dubravka goes in, mate, and I think because I think Pope plays the last game. I think Dubravka's nailed on to start the final. I really do.
Yeah. I know we've done a couple of votes in the chat, and hasn't it been most of Dubravka, obviously with the shouts and that. But I mean, what would you go with now?
I'd go with Dubravka, and I think, as Ian says, because Pope's played the last couple, I think he will switch up to Dubravka. I just don't like the way that we keep swapping keepers.
Yeah.
I don't think. I said when we brought Pope in, I didn't think we needed him because I quite liked Dubravka back then. Then Pope just didn't do anything wrong. Then Dubravka had that sort of funny spell where he went off to Man U, which I sort of get why he went. But since he's come back in the second spell, I think it's been fantastic. I don't think he should have been dropped. I can see why he'd be a bit miffed about why he's lost his place to Pope again when he's done nothing wrong. I think they're both sort of good shot stoppers, and I think they're both about the same level at that. I just think Dubravka commands his box better, and his distribution's better. For me, I think you've got to go with that, especially against Liverpool. You need some of that sort of.
Yeah, there'll be some key points as well. Like throughout the game, you never know when it just gets on a bit too much to us. Where the ball comes back in defence, where I'll be a lot more confident if them defenders turn and play the ball back to Dubravka, with his feet. He can then just play straight out the right. If he gets it from there, he can play out the left. Where with Pope, and I think it's the same with Dan Burn, which we'll get into shortly. Every time I see him in St James, they get the ball to feet. I'm just thinking, Jesus Christ, are they going to manage to catch this first time, or is it going to get out of play? What's going to happen? But I think with Dubravka, I just feel a bit more confident. I think with Liverpool, sometimes you're going to have to slow that game down. I think he'd be ideal in there, just get the ball at his feet. And a lot more comfortable I'll be with him on the ball than Nick Pope. Do you agree with that one?
I think the defenders trust him a lot more. You've sort of seen it when he has played. They've been a lot more relaxed at the back, and they don't mind playing a back up. Whereas with Pope, before under a bit of pressure and sort of have to play back them, and guarantee it's going out about halfway up the half. And I get the phone straight away.
There's a couple of games, wasn't it, last season? I think we went away one of them. Every time he kicked it, went out and played. And I think in the end, we said it was time wasting, but I think he couldn't kick it straight, could he?
Yeah, he done it on Monday night as well when we were just not under pressure at all. He just played straight out of the play. I'm like, oh my God.
Given went through a spell like that now, didn't
he? He hasn't been himself since his injury. We all know that. But I don't get, well, we'll beg Dubravka to stay, to make him sign the contract, and then to drop him. I just don't get that at all.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, the Greek was always signed PSR reasons, and he was in his contract. He's never going to play first team football for Newcastle United. That's in his contract, guaranteed. So that's the Greeks out of the question. Doesn't matter who you play, he's never going to play a first team game for Newcastle United. With the likes of Nick Pope or whatever, I just don't. Dubravka is, since he's come back, Dubravka, you play your best goalkeeper. And at this present time, since he's come back from injury, Dubravka is being the best. And do you know when Nick Pope got injured, Dubravka came in, he was shaky. I think he's come back a much better player and a much better goalkeeper this season than he did last season when he had to step up. 1,000,000%.
Yeah. And I think as well the fans are back.
I know he went to Man United and he was on loan and he came back. But this season, I think he's been good, really good.
Yeah, it's all about confidence as well. I mean, obviously he knows he came in as he was number 2 at the start of the season, but when he came in after that injury, And I think when he got dropped and he heard the fans and obviously wanted to stay, I don't think he realised how big the Newcastle fans, how much they love him. And you know, as a footballer, so the confidence that you go when you know people are loving what you're doing, it's massive. You can see the confidence that he's getting from that, can't you?
But then it can work the other way when you'll go, yeah, I've stopped, but the next game it gets dropped.
Yeah.
But this is us looking in from the outside. Eddie Howe will go, this is what we're going to do, mind. There'll be structure of what they do because they need to get minutes back into Nick Pope. They need to get minutes back into other players where everything's structured because of recovery and the demand of the Premier League football and cup competitions and everything, etc. But the goalkeeper situation, it's a bit different in my opinion. I still think you need to pay your best goalkeeper right the way through. I really do.
For me, like people are moaning that the Bravka didn't fight for his position and such. But for me, as goalkeeper, you've got your number one, and unless he gets sent off or injured, or makes an absolute howler 2 or 3 games in a row, your number one set. So no matter how good you are on training, you're never going to replace that number one.
Luke, he took his chance, and Dubravka stood up, and you know he's distribution off the floor is absolutely fantastic. He's demanded the ball through the area has been brilliant. He's just anybody been critical when they're going, and Nick Pope could have seen that, Dubravka could have seen it. The last couple of goals, mate, we conceded when Nick Pope was in, his angles were appalling, by the way, I think. Appalling.
I think, was it the Forest one where it was from like 40 yards? He just dove, he didn't take a step towards it.
Appalling.
No, I just think it's a bit of rustiness, but at the same time, you don't. That's why you don't have a position to sort of get it out.
I don't get the rustiness, right? Because these players train now in an intensity where they've got 3 or 4 goalkeepers going, they bang on this, and then they go into game situations. You're still in goal, but I don't get. As a player, I get that, but as a goalkeeper, I don't. Because as a player, you've got to cover so many different areas of the pitch. As a goalkeeper, you've got to cover your 2 sticks in the 18-yard box. It's for me, it's a lot less of area to do, especially when the intensity where you've got 3 or 4 goalkeepers doing that day in, day out. If you're ready, you're ready. As a player, it's a bit different, I think. A goalkeeper, I think you should do more. I really do.
No, but I think we'll hear a little bit more in the build up over the next couple of days from Eddie Howe. I think we'll give away a few clues over the next couple of days as well. But getting on to I think this is the positions that really worry me the most. And obviously, when we got the bottom news a couple of weeks, obviously last week, I was devastated because I just think in the centre back position, I'm really worried. Obviously, I've seen the ball come to burn many times now over the last few games to James Park, and to be fair, he has been good, but you see them one against ones, the players just passed him. When he chased one back the other night, he just fell over in the box. But Fab Shah is the main worry for me because I've seen him, and I don't know if you've watched him closely, but if you watch him now, any ball that comes in the air, as a centre-back, you want to go and win that ball. All he does now is put his hand round the striker, and every time he's less down and down, so the striker flicks it on. I haven't seen him run a header for the last 5 or 6 games, honestly. But I think in that position, hopefully we'll be in a final. Obviously, Bernard Local lad's going to turn on, but them two there is the main worry out the team for me on Sunday. I mean, what's your thoughts in the centre backs? Obviously, Nova, people are chucking there. They've got to go out and do the job for us, haven't they?
Yeah, I think for me, I've said for a long time it's sort of the position that we need to improve on. Like, I think we've got Botman, if he can stay fit, he's a start, and I think probably Shaw and Byrne are probably subs for me in a top of the table team. I think Dan Byrne recovers well, but I think, as you say, if he's exposed and someone runs with him, he's got a habit of falling over. Whereas if he's got cover, I think he can't track back and he can win the ball, but I think if he's sort of faced stuff, fronted up the Salah, for example, Salah's just going to run him, and it's pot luck, and I'll probably put my chance on Salah. But as you say, I think Shaw's positions out of it, either goes in, try to nick in front of the attackers, and they just sort of drop off and run in behind. As you say, he doesn't seem to win it in the air as much. I think it depends on who Liverpool start with up front. I don't think Nunes is particularly up for it. They might do right against Nunes, but anyone else, I think he sort of you run that risk of getting the ball knocked over them. Then the two wingers are quick and they'll just be on the end of it. But I sort of think that's where your midfield, that's where the tactics have got to be there. You can't let the two centre backs get exposed. So I think whoever he plays in that number 6 role, because to me it seems to be he's swapped them back again from when Tonali dropped them there and Bruno's a bit further forward. He seems to have dropped them back the other way again. I think whoever's in that number 6 role needs to close that gap between defence and midfield, and that'll be where the game's won, is on our number 6 position. If they can stop them running at our centre backs and turn the play around quickly, I think we've got a real chance. But I think if we've got that massive gap between the two lines and centre backs are getting exposed constantly, I think we could be in for a long day.
Yeah, I agree on Ian. What's your thoughts on the centre back? They need a good start, don't they? First 20 minutes, massive important.
Well, we have got no chance whatsoever of changing any centre back partnership because that's what we are.
Yeah.
And I think the back four picks itself.
Yeah.
Really does. What's worrying me is Fab Shaw's distribution at the time has been absolutely appalling. These last couple of games, really, really poor. He's been me, and I'll stick up for Dan Burn because I think he's been throwing his body on his line. He's well, and you've got to remember his ability is at a level where he can't go any further.
Yeah,
he's not a Rudiger or a bloody hell Fofana or anybody like that. His level is that. His level is Dan Burn. So what he does is he brings everything in the heart of the sleeve. And for Newcastle United, that's what we want. What you can't do is, what pisses me right off is, you can't slag his footballing ability off because we know his ability.
Yeah, what it goes to.
Right. It can only go so far, right? And he's in there for a reason. We've got nobody else. So you can't slag a player off because you're expecting a level of Marquinhos at Real Madrid, right? No. We've got Dan Burn. Do you know what it is? Do you know what pisses me off with Dan Burn? He's 6'20", but he can't head a ball. And that annoys me. It really, and we should be scoring more goals from set players because of his aerial ability. Because back in the day when I played football, the biggins used to score every fucking header right in the corner. Like they would just put it. He cannot head it, and even when the ball's going in, he'll top his head, he'll top spin it. I don't get that, but his defensive side when he wants to make a tackle or when you need to dig in deep, Dan Burn will never ever let you down. But don't knock him for his footballing ability because his ability is at a level where that's it. It's not world class. So just get behind him if that's what we're going to get out of him. It's the same with Fab Shaw. Fab Shaw can play a lovely 50-yard ball across field, but the next one he'll pass it straight into centre forward and go, fuck me, Fab, what have you done? But this is what we've got. So the two central defenders for me they can be world class at times, both of them, because they bounce off each other, or they can be the other one. And for me, if we get the right blend of both of them, I don't think we'll be far away. I really don't. I've got faith in both of them, really have, but I won't slag the pair of them because that's the abilities of what Newcastle United have.
Yeah,
if you get what I'm saying, it's
you know what you expect from them, don't you? Like, they're not going to get any better than what they are. Yeah.
If we had two of the best if we had the two of the best centre halves in the world going in against Liverpool, you know, we've got to expect these two players to play out of their skin, right? To get to, I would say Dan Burn's got to play to 140%. to get anything out of this game. And Fab Shaw, because he's getting on, is a Swiss international, right? Very, very good player. It's served our club absolutely brilliant. At times, he's brilliant. But against these players, these have got their game to 130, 140%. And this is what we're up against. You know? And well, our hands are tied. If Sven Bottom was in there, that man oozes class, great footballer. He would have to play his normal game because he's world class. But the other two, this is what we've got to accept, and we've just got to get behind them.
Yeah. And I think obviously where the game is going to be won, which you touched on next, is that midfield three, and I think that's the first three names pretty much on that team sheet: Bruno, Tonali, and Joe Linton. But totally agree, Luke. Obviously, that one that's sitting. I know Tonali did it, and he was just coming almost in between the centre backs, getting the ball in off the keeper at times, bringing it forward. And personally, I hope he stays in there for Sunday as well, with Bruno a little bit on the right, Joe Linton on the left, and they would need some massive games. You're just talking about players there and the levels there. And I think with these three, we just need these to be at the best performance and even just that little bit more magic from them. And I think when I was listening to Eddie Howe's interview before the West Ham game, he kind of touched on the final and they kind of said, how's the preps going? Obviously, you've got West Ham, you've got the final coming up, and he says it's no different. We train as if we play. We train the same way every time. It's high intensity. And I think, obviously, we've been at the PSG game at home. I've seen the Arsenal semi-final. And it's just one of those games, every so often that comes along where the intensity of closing the ball down, the man behind is closing the next pass down. I think it's one of those where it kicks off on Sunday, and that's what we need from the start, because that gets the fans going. And I think we'll all agree that if St. James's Park was rocking like the nights against PSG, against Arsenal, every single game, we would torture the teams that come like Ipswich, the Bournemouth, teams like that. But I think the fans have expected against the big teams, and I hope that does come on Sunday. But them three big players will be the massive difference. And obviously, Isaac up front as well. That could win the game for us. The first names on the team sheet, aren't they?
Yeah. And I think sort of the reason why I like Tonali in that sort of number 6 position is he sort of gets the ball and he plays quicker. Whereas Bruno, I think he likes to get the ball and then he like to sort of run a bit. Then he gets his head up and has a look, which I don't mind, and against certain teams that's all right. But I think Tonali against these, that transition's got to be so good. If you watch them against PSG, every time they looked in danger was on the transition. And I think if we sort of get the ball in midfield and then take 3 or 4 touches before picking a pass, I think they'll get back in their formation. We can't break teams down. Whereas I think when Tonali's in there, he sort of gets the ball, quick touch, so he can take one person on and he sends it. And I think that's what we've got to do against these, because I don't particularly think they're that great defensively at the minute. I think Van Dijk's been lucky a few times this season getting caught with tackles that he probably would have got sent off for if he didn't play for Liverpool, for example. He's got away with it. And I think against Isaac, if you send him and get him off where he's got a chance to run up one of the centre-backs because he's been let go quickly, I think it could cause them some real trouble, especially in the first half. They're a different team in the second half. I think the first half, we've got to get that ball and turn it quickly and just get it up to the 3 forwards as quick as we can. I think Tonali's the best place to do that.
Yeah, massive. Like you say, you rate him very highly, don't you, Tonali, Ian?
Oh, our best midfielder by a mile. His energy levels is out of this world, and like I've said, Tonali come to this football club has spoiled me watching Newcastle United, because I don't tend to watch Newcastle United anymore. I just watch Tonali. I get the midfield three because that's the best midfield three what we've got at this present time. My worry is their midfield three with McAllister, Gravenberch and Slabatai are really, really effective what they do with the football, with the ball. I don't think, this what worries me, is Joe Linton against West Ham away was fantastic. And I thought he was brilliant because it was like a rough and tumble game away from home. When you're playing against the top sides, I think you need a ball retention player in that midfield three, and just to take the pressure off your back line when you work so hard to get the ball back. And I don't think Joe Linton brings that to us, because I don't think his passing ability is in with the levels of Bruno and Tonali. And this is why I think we are crying out for another world-class midfielder, in my opinion. So the Liverpool side, when I watched against PSG through the week, I thought they were very effective going forward. I thought the intensity was very, very high, and it worried the life out of us, because I've seen our last 3 games where we weren't at it. I don't think.
Yeah.
I just think we just got through it. I thought we were a little bit bitty. People were just saying, I've got one eye on the cup final. I don't get that bullshit, mate. Because I think because the Premier League title is that close, I think Newcastle United should be taking every game at a time. Forget the cup final. But I just think the last 3 games, I don't think we've been at the races at all. And no. Liverpool, what they do is they've got an intensity where no matter who they play, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, Champions League, they've got the same intensity, even if they win, lose or draw. And that worries me, because I just don't think, if Liverpool turn up, I just don't think we have enough to beat them. I really don't. And that's, as much as I want to go there and win, I just don't think we've got enough to do it. I really don't.
Yeah, I think we touched on Joe Linton there as well. I think there's a few even mentioned the group, didn't they, about pushing them out left and actually getting Miley in there instead of putting Joe Linton on the left, which we'll get on obviously next as well. Obviously, it looks like it's going to be picking almost itself again. Murphy on the right, Barnes on the left, Isaac straight down the middle as well. And we touch on the players that's missing. Obviously, Gordon suspended. Obviously, Hall, Butman, Lascelles, I know has not been there all season, but it's a massive opportunity for 3 players who possibly wouldn't be starting that game. Obviously, Barnes in there instead of Gordon. Obviously, one of the centre backs would have been missing out if Butman was fit, and obviously Trippier probably being on the bench if Hall was fit as well. But them 3 players that are coming in, especially Barnes, I know he got back in the other night. He set up, they got the assist as well. And I think it's just a massive game. And I think up on the group, I can see him actually personally getting the winner. I've gone for 1-0, a Barnes winner, which we'll get predictions later. But I think it's just a massive opportunity for them players to come on and hopefully do something. I mean, I think we all have a go at him, but Murphy, he's got all these assists this season, but he just lacks that quality. I mean, it was the other night when he had that 3 or 4 yard pass to put someone in, and he's still undercooked or overcooked. But it's we kind of go next season with players like that. But obviously we'll get at that at some other point. But that front 3, it almost picks itself. There's going to be no shocks, no surprises. No one else is going to be apart from them 3, isn't it?
Nah. I think sort of for Liverpool, it's easy. You can look at our team and you can say what our first 11. I think you ask 10 Toon fans, they'll get the same team 10 times with the players that's available. I think, as Ian was saying, I don't think we've been out the past few weeks. I think you look at us in December, I think we're going to beat anybody, anytime. For us in January and February, we've been really, really spotty. And I think we'll either beat ourselves by not showing up or we'll win this game. So I disagree on Ian where I do think we can get at Liverpool. I do think they are very good when they want to be very good, but I think they've also been very poor this season. They've just sort of scraped a few results. And I think on the counter, on the turnover, I think they're very poor. I think they commit everything going forward. 9 times out of 10 teams are sitting back and letting them do that. But I think PSG in the first leg, they probably should have had 4 or 5 before Liverpool finally got that goal that put them ahead in the tie. But PSG absolutely battered them. And I think if you get at them and you don't give away mistakes like Murphy, not passing the ball 5 yards and just letting their midfield just burst into the gap that we've just left behind, I think we can get something from it. I think, as Ian says, we need everybody at 110%. We can't be doing little daft 5-yard passes on the halfway line that go straight to their player and just have them run straight at our centre backs. That'll be a nightmare. I think if we are Harris, I do think the quick turnaround from midfield is there for us, and I do think for the 3 forwards, Barnes quick, Murphy's quick, and Isaac's quick. And I think if Isaac gets the ball at his feet, I think he'll torment Van Dijk and I would say Konate, but he went off injured. Yeah. And he's apparently fatigued, so I don't know if it's going to be him, but if it's not him, they've got that Queshran, I think it is, as a young kid, is the other option that they've got at the back.
Be concert.
Concert.
Conser, I think he's.
We wanted him.
Aye, wasn't it? Aye.
I think Isaac will have a field day against their centre backs. I think Trent's pretty much. He's definitely out by the sounds of the way that slot was told.
1,000,000%. He's gone.
Which I think is probably bad for us. I think he's an awful defender. And I think Isaac would have quite liked to just sit in that space behind him and just pick it up and run at him. But I think it's an interesting game. I think it is there for us, if we're honest.
If I get you absolute positives, who's going to take the game to Liverpool? That's what I would like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to think
because you're going. They're very, very good at getting at it, right? And they're saying they're very vulnerable in attack. Who is Newcastle United's players that's going to actually get at them? That will make them feel vulnerable.
I think Isaac
and Bruno.
Yeah, I think
from the last game or the last final, I think Bruno's going to step up massively.
Yeah, I think Tonali's going to be the big player for us. He has to break up that play. I don't mind Joelinton in the middle. I think him and Gravenbach are just going to scrap all game. I don't mind if they cut into each other out, just scrapping. I fancy Tonali against Szoboszlai, if that's the one that will pair up. And Bruno, he likes a bit of a scrap. I do think he's probably better on the ball. And he can't pick up ball.
See, I think Liverpool are very, very effective down the sides.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? So to get at Liverpool, to stop their coming down the sides, where are we going to be absolutely predominant? To get on top of them coming down the sides, where are we going to be positives coming down the side? Which players are going to do that?
Yeah, it's not
I don't know if he will, but I think Murphy needs to sit on Diaz. They need to double up with his right back.
You know what I'm going to say here, don't you? I get everything what you've just said through the middle, because you've picked the best players through the core. But when you go down our sides, you've got Murphy, you've got Livramento, and you've got Trippier, and you've got Harvey Barnes. Right? And if you go down their sides, you've got world-class players.
I don't know if Andy Robinson, if he's fit, but he's been quiet this season.
It's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm hoping Liverpool don't turn up.
Yeah.
Because I think man for man, which we know, Liverpool are better.
Yeah.
That's my worry. Man for man. I get the midfield three. I think I'm disrespecting Newcastle United here, actually, because our midfield three with I would say Tonali and Bruno can probably play in Liverpool's side because both of them are world class. The other players that worries me a little bit. So we have to play out of our skin to get something. Really do. Yeah. I love our optimism. I really do. And I just would need to get behind everything. I really do.
Yeah, just a bit of luck, a bit of magic. And I think, like you say, just getting at them and just letting them know from the minute that we're here, not as just numbers. I think I was just talking with Luke before we came on. I kind of said, I think that first game against Man United, I think it was just the excitement that we're getting to a cup final after so many years away from Wembley. And it wasn't like a build-up as it's been this time. You haven't seen as much. There was a lot more laughter and a bit more fun when it was last year. We hear it with the final, where this year just seems a bit more serious. And the players that came out and said that this has got obviously different training. It's a bit more switched on, not doing many of media things as well. I just think it's going to be totally different, but we need to be at it from that start because, like I say, I watched the PSG game the other night, lying in bed. I think it was only, obviously Laura next was now saying, "Look at this one, Laura. They've got the back four, and you just play the ball." It's like, "Really, shut up, man." But yeah, if you got that back four, the amount of times where PSG were just splitting it in between the full backs or the two centre backs and had to turn. I mean, Van Dijk, by the time he turned and chased, I can't remember who it was, a couple of times. Dembele, he was away. I mean, that one way he just took that extra heavy touch and the keeper came off his line. He got done a few times. And I just think if he turned around the first 10 minutes a couple of times, put Van Dijk under a bit of pressure and just get at them a little bit. And I think as well with penalty shootouts, I mean, we've all been involved in them and there's nothing worse than getting beat on penalties in a massive game like that. It will have a factor, obviously, the extra time, the tired legs. You see some of them, like I say, came off. Is he injured? Is he not injured? didn't look very well, but obviously, like Ian said, Trent definitely out with the way he went down with that ankle, like definitely 100%. We just need that bit of luck, don't we? I think from the off, as long as we get at them, I think it's got very important the first 25 minutes.
If you look at the player interviews, like Andy Robinson was saying after the game, the team was tired. I think if we get at them in the first 10 minutes and make them feel tired, if we'll know in the first 10 minutes how the game's going to go. If we get at them, especially if we score an early goal, I think if we can keep that a lead for 10 minutes, I don't think they'll have the bottle to fight it out over 90 minutes. My concern is if it's 0-0, it's 70 minutes, I don't see what we've got changing the game.
You know what you're doing, Luke, right? You've got the Geordie pride. You've got it in your heart, right? And you go, we're going to do this from fucking minute one. We're going to do this. It's in you. It's it. This is what we do. It's black and white. We're going, we'll get an early goal. We'll do this and do that. Because that's what we'll believe. And I'll be exactly the same as you. And James will be exactly the same as you. Can we get the early goal? Can we do this and can we do that? Because that's what we do as black and whiters.
Yeah.
No matter who we play, can we get this early goal? Can we do this? And it's even the Premier League game, right? When we play Leicester at home, we'll go, let's get the early goal. Let's do this. Mindset never ever changes because we're black and white. And we'll love Newcastle United. Cup final, semi-final, anything, mate.
I think we've got to treat this like the Arsenal game, the away game in the first leg. We've got to go get something. I won't mind if we finish the last 10 minutes at 0-5-5 and just make it horrible to play against.
Can I be honest with you now? I have never even thought about the cup final yet. I have never thought about it yet. Do you know what I'm thinking about? Me horses tomorrow. I've thought about my horses every single day, and I'm over the moon that Cheltenham's been on this week because I'd have been absolutely shitting my knickers because I've only got. So I've backed the horses today, and I'll back them tomorrow. My son's at football on Saturday, and then that'll be it.
Keep yourself busy. Excellent. But before we get the predictions, obviously we were chatting about obviously our lineups before the show. I think they're pretty much already identical, but I think I've gone for obviously De Baffer in goal. I have gone for Tino right back, Trippier left back, Sharp, Burn in the middle, Bruno, Tonali, Joe, Linton, Murphy, Isaac, and Barnes on the left. Ian, what's yours?
Exactly the same.
Same, Lukey?
Mine's exactly the same, but I think you'll swap the fullbacks.
Yeah, I think you will go that way, but yeah, I would like to see Trippier at left back. Like, I just think it would make much more sense, especially in a massive final. He's got the experience, he's done it before. It'll be interesting to see, but they all obviously important predictions. I've obviously gone for a 1-0. What's your predictions, lads?
I'm going 1-1 and we'll win it in extra time. I don't fancy it, but I think I'll be happy for a goal. I've been to Wembley 3 times now and got stuff 2-0 every time, so I'll be happy just to see a goal, to be honest with you.
Yous will not like me now. I think we'll score first and get beat 3-1.
3-1.
So I think it depends on. They get absolutely battered off Slot at half time. The last 3 or 4 games they've been getting beat at half time and Slot's battered them. Have come out in the second half and got some out of it. So I think we've got to be more than in the game.
The reason why I say this is if any other club we were playing, we found a way to beat Tottenham, we found a way to beat Man United, we found a way to beat Man City at home, we found a way to beat the Arsenal's home and away. We've never ever found a way to beat Liverpool. And I'm hoping my prediction is absolutely out of the water, by the way. Right? And we win. And we hold that trophy up on Sunday. And I'm over the moon. And I will stand here and say, thank God I got my prediction wrong for my club to win that trophy. Because it means so much to every fan, including me on this panel, to just see that silverware lifted.
Yeah.
No, it would be amazing. But lads, I hope you can enjoy it as much as you can. Obviously Sunday as well. And thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you back on and obviously chatting about the club that we all love and hopefully bring that silverware back to Newcastle at the weekend.
We'll be back on Monday celebrating a win.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
But all lads, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night as well.
Thank you very much.